is called A Clean Start with Tidy Eval. And Mango's logo is a cat, so these slides are going to have a lot of kind of cat gifs and stuff in them. Okay, so firstly, why should you care about Tidy Eval? Well, you should care if, one, you write your own functions, and two, you actually want to use functions from dplyr and from tidyr as well inside these functions that you've written yourself. But you should also care if this is used. So basically, I'm using this GIF to be basically me a few months ago trying to use Tidy Eval. I was lucky enough to go to the RStudio conference, and I remember in Hadley's talk, he said Tidy Eval gives us a way to maximise the beauty and minimise the horror. And I was there thinking, well, yeah, I've definitely nailed the horror side of that. But since then, done loads and loads of reading about Tidy Eval, so I want to sort of do almost like a kind of 5-minute super fast tutorial about some of the basics for anybody else who's going to learn about it. So here's some R code. So we call the dplyr package, we create a function called wrangle data, and its parameters are just data, column and val. And basically, inside the body of this function, we basically take the data set, select a column, and then filter it to only return the rows for which the values in the column equal the values that are given. So simple, right? We call it and it works. No, that doesn't work. So this hasn't worked at all because basically dplyr uses something called non-standard evaluation, and it's absolutely fantastic when we've got these kind of great scripts with all these kind of pipeline-like chains going down, and it makes it quite easy to work doing quite complicated things easily. But actually, when we're trying to put dplyr functions inside our own functions, then it makes life a lot more complicated. So basically, we just need to override this sort of custom evaluation functionality. Okay. So there's two main parts to do it in that function that I showed you. The first thing is what's known as the bang bang operator. So that's the double exclamation marks. And basically, the simple explanation is it just overrides dplyr's special behaviour. There's loads of guides out there that give you really horribly, overly complex, if you don't know much context, descriptions, but literally, for the basics, all you need to know is that it overrides this evaluation. So there's the code again. I've just highlighted in bold, putting the bang bang operator in there. So has it fixed it? No. So sort of like the cat from before. You know, a bit more power this time, but still not quite there, not achieving it. Okay. So there's a second part that we need to our fix, and this is a function from, I think it's from the rlang package called sim, and this is where it gets a little bit more theoretical. So sim converts a string, it might do other things, not sure, to a symbol. So the easiest way I thought to explain this is two different examples using the dplyr filter function. So the second example there is how we should, well, the code that actually works. If we want to filter the iris data set and just return the rows for which the values of the species column is vertical, we specify it like that second way there. And if you notice, species doesn't have quote marks around it, and that's because in this case, species is a symbol. Now, when we tried that fix that I did before, just with bang bang, it's taking basically column and it's just converting it. So it's basically like this top example there with species in quote marks, and that's why it didn't work. So the next bit of the fix is just to wrap that column parameter in sim to convert it to a symbol, then kind of bang bang in front of it, which then evaluates that right where it is, and like the very smooth cat on the skateboard, it works fine. So that's kind of really basic Tidy Eval. The last bit that I wanted to talk through actually, because I found the hardest thing about explaining, like learning Tidy Eval, is actually the resources out there. One that I don't have mentioned on there, Twitter is awesome. #TidyEval, there's loads of really good stuff there. The RStudio Tidy Eval webinar, it's really good, but I'd say look at it and go back to it and keep going back to it, because I found I've had to just break it up, it goes into that much kind of detail. And the exact same thing with the dplyr programming vignette. The bit of self-promotion, I wrote a load of blog posts on Tidy Eval with the aim that no post is more than about 1,000 words. I'm just going through one thing to do on each of them, and I'm trying to just make it as simple as possible for somebody that doesn't have like this in-depth knowledge, i.e. like myself. And another good website, Edwin Thoen, has got this thing called dplyr recipes, and it just shows you some of the most common use cases of Tidy Eval, and that's quite nice just to see the different functions and things like that. So I have rambled through that much quicker than I have before, but yeah, thank you.